Hello, Bobby Torres of Frightbox recording here, critiquing subscriber mixes, episode 32. So before we dive into today's mixes, I want to let you know that people are constantly sending me their mixes, and the one issue I hear almost every single time, maybe not every single time, but 85% of the time, is that people lack a simple, basic, fundamental understanding of simple EQ and compression, and it really holds so many people's mixes back. Now, often people then go to gear forums looking for new plugins or new microphones or new amp sims or new guitars, when in reality, again, they just need to understand EQ and compression like a pro. And because of this, I've put together something called the Crisp and Clear Heavy Mix Formula. The Crisp and Clear Heavy Mix Formula is a straightforward PDF guide that contains all of my starting points for EQ and compression for all of the main instruments within a heavy production. Now, on top of this, there are clickable links in the PDF to private tutorials, along with a multi-track download so you can mix along with me while watching this tutorial using the exact same multi-tracks that I'm using in the lesson. What I want you to do is learn these techniques and apply them to your own music so you can achieve better results, again, with the gear and plugins you currently have. In other words, without spending any more money. The Crisp and Clear Heavy Mix Formula is absolutely free right now, and you can have direct access by clicking the link below in this video's description. So without any further ado, let's dive into today's group of mixes. And our first mix here comes from Sterling. Let's see what we got. Sterling, so far the mix sounds good. I heard a few things that were kind of out of tune earlier in the track. Also, there's a ton of top end on your snare going on. If you are using drum samples or if you're using MIDI drums, you probably don't have to boost as much top end as you are. But other than that, let's keep listening. Yeah, Sterling, the song sounds awesome. The riffs are really cool, but two things here. Number one, again, things are overly bright in the mix. Not everything has to be that bright. In particular, the snare drum in this specific mix. And also, I hear some slight distortion over the track overall. Maybe you're trying to push your limiter a little too hard. And if I'm being honest, it sounds like some of the music can utilize some editing. I hear some pushing and pulling. Specifically, the guitar is rushing the beat here and there. So give those tweaks a shot. I think it's really going to take this production to the next level because, again, the song is cool. The production sounds great overall. The riffs sound cool. So again, these simple tweaks, I think, will make the production way more professional. Thank you for your submission and keep me posted on your future work. Okay, our next mix here comes from Avery, and I'm actually going to boost it a little because Sterling's was blasting loud. Let's check it out. Okay, pretty cool. Some of these riffs definitely need editing. I hear some sloppiness in the guitar playing, but pretty cool overall. Also, the guitars are a little bit too loud, but let's keep listening. I could use a little more cymbals in the drums. I know these are probably programmed drums, at least that's how they sound. And the drums sound like they have no dynamics because, again, the cymbals are very quiet and the guitars are very loud. So what I would do right off the bat is turn the overheads up ever so slightly, maybe by a dB or two, and then the inverse for the guitars. Turn the guitars down about a dB, I would say. I dig the DJ scratching, by the way.
I'm so sick and fucking tired of your hypocrisy. No matter what you do, you're never gonna fix me. You can bet, but you will never break me. Rest of my own, I'll leave you for. Narcissistic motherfucker. cause never let it rest. I don't guess it's taking shows when you know I'm at my best. I'm sick and I know I'm playing like I wish. So it's just a friend's life, I will never say goodbye.
All right, dude, vocals sound cool. There's a bunch of top end you don't really need, so I would use something like a high shelf filter just to reduce all of the frequencies above around 9K by a few dB. And also, I hear this weird stereo thing going on with the vocals. I don't know if you've doubled the vocal or tripled them or something like that, and then widened the pair, or maybe you're doing it with an effect. I would actually take that off. This is just my personal opinion, and utilize that on something like the chorus, so you can build in some excitement and dynamics within the arrangement. Having the vocals super wide right off the bat like that is kind of jarring in my opinion. But again, it's just my opinion. Maybe you like that sound, but it was confusing to me because I didn't know where to listen. Like generally when you're listening to a mix, you want to be focused in on the vocal because the vocal is the most important part of any mix, at least non-instrumental mixes. And those are my main tweaks, man. Song sounds killer, maybe a little bit of editing on the guitars. The overhead's a little louder, guitars slightly quieter, and then get rid of all that fancy stuff with the vocals and keep it up the center, and then widen the vocal for the chorus. Again, that's what I would do. Thank you so much for your submission. Okay, our next mix here comes from Elvis. No, not Elvis. It comes from Elvik. Hopefully I got your name right. Cymbals way too loud. Turn those guys down at least by 3 dB. The opposite problem of the last mix. Let's keep listening. Yeah, dude, song sounds killer, riff sound killer, but the cymbals are actually physically hurting my ears. All right, let me just take an EQ here and just roll off those highs because they are, again, they're piercing my eardrums just so I can listen to this mix. Yeah, Elvik, again, overall, killer production, really cool tune, very creative use of effects during that break there. But dude, the cymbals have to come way down. That's my main note, and I'd love to hear an updated version of this mix with the cymbals turned down. Thank you so much for your submission, and keep it posted on your future productions. All right, our last mix here comes from James. Let's check out James's mix. I think I hear digital clipping. Yeah, your lead is really loud, and during this quiet section, after the lead kicks in, I hear some form of clipping happening on your master. To me, it sounds almost like T-Rax clipping. I used to use T-Rax back in the day, which was a great mastering software, but the clipping sounded very similar to this.
Faded into gray, revealed all the darkness.
Great sounding vocals, great guitar playing, cymbals can definitely come down, but the actual playing and performance sounds phenomenal. Okay, typical guitar player issues, at least when guitar players mix their own music, guitars are way too loud, man. You could turn them down. Just joke there for a second. Let's keep listening. Also, the low end of the vocals is really competing with the guitars. I would roll off a little more low end on the vocal. I hear a lot of like 200 hertz, even around 150 hertz. So roll off a little more low end to help it fit in the mix. You have a lot going on. It's going to require a lot of automation, a lot of movement as far as getting the rhythms out of the way so you can hear the leads, maybe panning a lead off to the side so it doesn't step all over the vocal. Because right now it sounds like everything is really like fighting one another. In this case, I don't think it's so much of an EQ issue, but definitely a dynamics issue. Two other notes here. The one I previously mentioned, you could turn the cymbals definitely down by at least 2 dB just to help them sit in the mix a little more organically so they're not, taking our heads off. Also, I think you could spend a little more time with the dynamics, the MIDI dynamics, as far as the MIDI programming with the drums. A lot of the snare fills are sounding very machine gunny to me. And for me, I feel it doesn't fit the music. This sounds like a nice old school organic sounding production overall, but it sounds like the drums are very programmy. And again, I would spend a little more time going in there and adding variations to the velocities, specifically on the snare and the kicks. But overall, again, killer production, James. Thank you so much for your submission, and I can't wait to hear your future work. So I would just like to shout out and thank everyone for submitting this killer group of mixes. Now, if you're interested in having your mix featured on the channel, and if you'd like a critique from me, there are detailed instructions in this video's description box. And again, if you're looking to improve your results with the gear and plugins you're currently using, and if you don't have a firm grasp on EQ and compression, I highly recommend downloading my Crisp and Clear Heavy Mix Formula. Again, it's a straightforward PDF guide that contains all of my starting points for EQ and compression for all of the main instruments within a heavy production. Within the PDF guide, there are clickable links to private tutorials for each of the instrument groups and multi-track downloads that you could download so you can mix along with me. So therefore, you can later take these techniques and apply them to your own music and achieve better results without having to spend any more money on useless plugins and useless gear. If you found this video helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And do not forget to click the little bell icon so you can be notified every single time I upload my weekly videos on all things metal rock production. Till next time, happy mixing.